Hey everybody, Rob Nelson from 52 Things. We're gonna take this photo and we're gonna turn it into this photo. And this video is the whole process, and it starts here. Well, let's go, we're gonna shoot family photos.
All you guys, kids, smile.
I'm gonna show you a couple of tricks for shooting family photos, especially when you got crazy kids.
I'm ready.
See you out there. Now this is going to be a combination of how to set things up a little bit ahead of time. It's also then going to be how to do it in post. So let me just show you what we got right here. What camera do you have, Paul?
Got the Canon EO5.
Okay, so an intro Canon camera. It's gonna take fantastic photos, but a couple things that you wanna do. So we're gonna shoot raw images. That's key. We have it set up on a tripod, and the reason it's on a tripod is we're going to be able to take all of the best images of the kids and paint them in later. Secondly, we're gonna make sure everything is on manual. You just wanna make sure you have an evenly exposed shot, and then if you can, you shoot one stop up and one stop down. That'll give you more in post to work with.
Hey, Mom.
Let's take these shots and I'll show you all of the tricks when we get back to the studio. Okay, it's starting to rain. We better shoot this. Everybody get in, quick!
What are you doing with this thing? You were talking into it a minute
I'm
ago.
shooting a tutorial. Grandma, can I help you over? If you've ever done family photos, you know that there is a lot of coordination that goes into getting these shots. We're trying to line everybody up. While Paul and I didn't want to go overboard with the planning and the shooting, we did want something that would create a nice picture for my grandparents and everyone else later. And that meant we needed a picture with at least everybody looking, and preferably with everybody smiling. Now with 13 kids, most under 10, that actually seemed kind of tricky. I will! So, our plan was to set the timer a bunch of times and have as many photos as we could to work with.
We ready?
So essentially, once we got a couple good ones with the adults, because more or less they will listen to directions, Paul and I just stood behind the camera and made sure that we got a few good ones with all the kids looking our way.
So we're gonna take another photo of all the kids.
Finally, we got an extra photo or two overexposed and underexposed. Now, underexposed is really important. That allows us to work with the sky. Fortunately, today was pretty overcast, so we didn't need to do it too much, but it did help a little bit later. So I'm back in the studio now, and I actually worked up the final image, which right now looks like this. And it came from this. It's a pretty big difference, I will admit, and maybe I went a little overboard on some of the effects, which is okay, you can dial it down. Like for instance, I can take this sun out and some of the brightness and color in the sky, just to make it a little bit more realistic, but I kind of like how it looks, and it printed up really nicely for my grandparents. Now I'm gonna give you a broad overview of all the things that I did to this picture right now, and then I'm gonna really just touch on the most important thing I think that you need to take away from this tutorial, and that's how to mask in and out different people's faces in different shots. Okay, let me just kind of take this photo and back you up from the end product all the way back to the beginning one. Now I label all the different adjustments that I do, and you can see I made a lot of adjustments down this side here. So this one here kind of darkened the background. I'm working with curves a lot. This one made the faces pop. So I'm masking different parts of the photo, see, making the faces pop. This one kind of added some warmth to the highlights and some blues to the shadows. Turn that one off. Now this layer, I had a gray background and I painted a little bit of pink in and I set it to overlay. So this is kind of the effect that that gives. And I did the same with the sun. Now you can take both of those off or put one of them on. Like that actually looks kind of nice with the kind of a haze in the background. I wanted to make the faces stick out just a little bit. This is adding clarity just to the faces. And this is adding softening to the background. So and you can see I added masks to both of these. So this gets me all the way down to this layer that says merged. Essentially, I did merge everything and I played with it from here. Now let me step that back to a couple of the folders. Now, if we look at this, let me take these two layers off. Here is the background that is underexposed that we shot. Now you can see there's a little bit more definition to the sky, and what I did is I copied this folder and I flipped it so that there was symmetry. And I blended those two together, and I actually did that on purpose when we were out there. I saw that there was a little bit of angle to the trees and there was a little bit of a mountain, so I put my grandma right in the middle so that everything kind of like pointed to her, because I knew I was going to try to flip that. The reason for this isn't because we're trying to find symmetry here. It's we're looking through the camera and this is the center of the background. Like it.
I don't care, just tell us over here.
I mean, I do think it looks better than that. That looks a little bit off center. Okay, so let's just drop that back. Now, what you'll notice is I'm gonna kind of focus in on different kids here. Looking at the camera, not. Looking at the camera, not. Okay, here's another one. Looking at the camera, bored. Looking at the camera, a little more happy. Okay, so I did that. Here we got Haley and I over in the corner. I thought our pose was better in this one. And then not even looking at the camera, looking at the camera. Okay, there's that. One here. That goes all the way back to which one I think right here is the best image. So essentially what I have is one main image and 1, 2, 3, 4 shots where the kids were moving. Now the only reason I'm able to mask all of these in is because we were shooting on a tripod with manual settings. Remember I talked about that earlier. It's super important and that allows everything to stay consistent. So essentially, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna put all these layers, stack them on top of each other, and then you're going to use masking. Now really quickly, let me just show you how this works. So in this photo, we're only gonna take Penny's face, and we're gonna mask that out, plop it on top of the other ones. Now, if you've never used masks before, I have a couple of tutorials where I specifically talk about masks, so I'm gonna put the links right up here to that, and I would encourage you to go to that first. I'm gonna give you the quick overview of it. Essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this layer over here in Photoshop, and you're gonna go down here and you click this button, which is Add Layer Mask. Now what you see is that it's a big white box. So what that means right now is that the entire image is visible. If it's white, everything's visible. If it's black, it becomes transparent. So that's how you can start painting in and out different things. So if I were to say, take this image and invert it, now it's a black layer. See, now Penny's not visible, that whole layer is invisible. All right, now the way I like to work, and I think this is the easiest way, but you can do it either way. I like to start with everything visible and paint out the face. Once I do that, then I invert it and I fine tune it. A couple things when working with masks. First of all, you can do it with a mouse, but a pressure-sensitive pen on a little tablet, like this Wacom tablet that I have right here, is fantastic. One step up from that is this Cintiq that I use right here, which I use all the time, but because I'm gonna show you on the screen, I'm just gonna use this one. Also, make sure that your brush up here is set with a nice feather in it, so the hardness is slid all the way down, right? You see, so this one right here, hardness is up, it's a hard edge. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go over here to Penny. Let's get a smaller brush. And I'm just gonna mask out the good part of the photo. Now, she's looking the wrong way, but that's in the photo we don't want. Now all I do is I make sure that the layer is clicked, and I'm up here in the properties, and I invert that mask. See what happened? Now, if I turn on and off that layer, she looks. And actually, I think for the purposes of this photo, I don't need to do any fine tuning. But if I wanted to, essentially there's just one white little dot right where Penny's face is. That's the black. I'm painting black in there. Or if I hit X, I paint white in there. So I can go in now and adjust just Penny's face. How cool is that? If you don't use masks, you gotta start using them because it will change your life in Photoshop. I mask everything from adjustment layers to photos on top of photos. It really allows you to do so much in the program. Anyways, I hope you learned something. I hope you didn't think the final photo was too much. If you did, that's okay. Also, I know that a lot of you, my family members, have no idea what I do. This is kind of what I do. I take different photos that members in the community, like Paul, who's my cousin, who also subscribed to this, sometimes share with me, and I give them tips and tricks on how to make things better. We're doing one every single week, all year long, and the whole thing is funded by an amazing group of patrons. You guys are my family, and I'm not gonna expect you guys to donate to that, but that's how it all works. Unless, of course, you'd rather, instead of sending me a birthday present, kind of a crazy business model, but I love it because it allows me to interact with everybody out there. So thanks again for watching, all the rest of you. I hope you learned something out of this. If there's something else you would like me to do in future tutorials, leave a comment down below. And for those of you who are patrons, I'm giving you this project file so you can see exactly what I did. You know, links down in the description and up there. All right, we'll see you next Tuesday. And if you were wondering what I was doing last week, why I didn't have a tutorial, because I was doing this. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. My brother, by the way, designed these amazing shirts. Pretty cool, right?